look at how Tzu Chi volunteers worldwide provide medical assistance to refugees. We investigate Taiwan's problem with food waste and how it can be improved. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Siri Su. Thank you for joining us. At the UN World Humanitarian Summit in Istanbul, Turkey, that took place on May 23rd and 24th, 15 special meetings were held. During one of the meetings, Tzu Chi volunteers show a film on Tzu Chi's humanitarian work in different parts of the world. They also seized the occasion to explain how Buddhists put their love into actions to benefit humankind.
Our very first speaker here today.
At the UN World Humanitarian Summit, more than 100 representatives are attending a special meeting to discuss humanitarian issues.
Or violence on human beings.
Here, all the religious representatives hope to reach a consensus for them to join their efforts.
Our faith, working together, we can transform the world. So it's working together to achieve and alleviate the suffering of humanity is the important goal.
Tzu Chi has also been invited to attend the meeting, where the volunteers show the attendees a film of Buddhists putting love into action.
We would like to share with you the footprints of what we do in Istanbul and the Middle East area.
We're very grateful that our Tzu Chi brothers and sisters in Middle East, Turkey, Jordan, and Europe have been helping refugees, so we can share with you how a religious organization can play its role in the wake of refugee crisis and climate change. We Buddhists put our theories into practice.
I'm very touched by the work of the Buddhists. So often one talks about Buddhism passive, only compassion, and I hope that we can take an example from your work and let's continue together.
Attending the 15 meetings over the course of 2 consecutive days, representatives from different fields hope to work together to promote humanitarianism in the world.
In our previous report, we look at how Tzu Chi volunteers worldwide reach out to refugees in different parts of the world. Today, we'll look at how Tzu Chi volunteers in various countries work to provide medical services to refugees in their respective countries. In Jordan, the medical team formed by TIMA members in Taiwan and Jordan have come to the refugee camp in Sahab. In this Arab country, the volunteers serving at a free clinic are elated to hear people speak their language. However, the refugees seeking medical attention feel extremely insecure. To help build their trust of the doctors, translation by local volunteers is needed. During the treatment, anxious refugees gradually begin to feel at ease and begin to believe these professionals are giving without asking for anything in return.
We are very happy that you have come to help us refugees. I really think you are great. Thank you.
In addition, Tzu Chi volunteers in Thailand also reach out to impoverished and ill refugees.
We come here for my all family members, 16 family members, came here now for checkup.
We have a problem for me and for my daughter. We hope this all this service be every month coming and do everything for people, because all people, many of people cannot go to hospital or doctor to pay money. Here they are very happy when they are come here.
With nearly 9,000 refugees in Bangkok, the Tzu Chi Thailand chapter has been holding regular free clinics on their behalf. Their work has also caught the attention of the United Nations.
This is wonderful. Looks like it's functioning very well. So I hope this can continue without any problems in the future.
Take a look at the refugee situation in Malaysia. In Malaysia, tens of thousands of Myanmar refugees work manual labor. In the case of work-related injuries, only Tzu Chi provides them with medical assistance.
The pus and blood will build up inside and cause infection. It does not look good.
With the doctor applying medications free of charge, this refugee feels he's being respected as he receives treatment.
If it was not for Tzu Chi, we could only wait helplessly. We do not have money or the UNHCR refugee certificates. We will get arrested if we go to a public hospital.
In different parts of the world, refugees are able to receive needed medical care thanks to Tzu Chi volunteers who have shown compassion and love.
Thank you.
Teams from the Philippines, Singapore, and Malaysia recently traveled to Sri Lanka to hold a free clinic for the impoverished people in Colombo. At the occasion, the medical volunteers provided services to nearly 200 people.
As poverty and sickness often go hand in hand, Tima doctors hold free clinics in the outskirts of Colombo, Sri Lanka. On this day, over 180 people are waiting to be treated. Somalatha cut her finger 10 years ago. Left untreated, the wound became a big tumor. After it is removed, her life will improve.
In the past, I couldn't comb my hair because my finger would hurt. Thank you so much for your help.
Lakmini suffered from a stroke 4 years ago, and the left side of her body became paralyzed. The Chinese medicine doctor is teaching her daughter how to massage her mother to ease her symptoms.
I can only work with one hand because I had a stroke, but my daughter helps me often around the house.
I love you, my mother.
Shelton was at home when he fell off the ladder and slashed his leg. The wound was 30 centimeters long, but thankfully, it was the first day of the free clinic. Thus, he came for the treatment.
I want to thank the doctor for treating me. I didn't feel any pain while I was treated.
Being a Sri Lankan, Rochelle Kinson returned from Singapore to help out at a dental registry, while volunteer Supam, who is next to her, doesn't understand the local language.
Through gestures, and the best thing is I'll try to smile and show you want to go for teeth or not, like that, and they will smile and make them relax a bit.
Unable to speak the local language isn't a barrier, as the patient can still feel the volunteers' love. The patients may be poor, but they are willing to donate coins to do good deeds, as a pay to pay forward the medical care they have received.
In Australia, the Tzu Chi Melbourne Liaison Office recently partnered with the Chinese Runners Club to hold a Run for Refugees event. The activity gave the participants the opportunity to experience what the Syrian refugees went through as they escaped from war, in order to raise more awareness on this issue.
They run across streets and through parks. The runners can enjoy the beautiful scenery while they run, but they all seem heavy-hearted. These runners are in a Run for Refugees event held by Tzu Chi Melbourne Liaison Office and a Chinese group called Run for Life.
We can actually feel their pain, but we could try to feel how they felt when they ran for their lives. It's not hard to imagine. When we were running, we ran and stopped, and started running again. If a bomb had been dropped behind us, would you have stopped running if you had been tired? I have been asking myself that question.
It made me reflect on a few things. Just like someone was saying, could we really run with ease if there were bombs chasing us? And so when we were running, we could experience how they felt.
We want to spread our love through running, so if Tzu Chi has any more similar events in the future, we are willing to work with them.
The event is more meaningful, as the runners can understand what the refugees went through as they journey to safety.
Taiwan convenience stores, hypermarkets, and supermarkets discard about 36,000 tons of expired food each year. The value of this food waste is more than $160 million, which could provide lunches for children from 340,000 disadvantaged households year-round. This issue has led the government to launch new policies aimed at the food industry to manage the flow and quantity of food waste. Today, we take a look at Taiwan's problem with leftover food and how it can be improved.
First, I strip off these outer leaves because these leaves are a bit old.
This is what happens when consumers don't like vegetables which appear too old. Unwanted vegetable parts are thrown into a trash bin. However, because it is mixed in with plastic bags, it ultimately becomes waste. When opening this barrel of kitchen waste, it's full of residual food waste and flies all around.
The government actually doesn't have a more rigorous mechanism for businesses, such as supermarkets and hypermarkets, to report these expired products, including their amount and where they're disposed of. There are no mandatory rules in place.
Not knowing where leftover food products go, some worry that they may be resold and eaten by unsuspecting consumers. This issue led municipal EPAs and the Ministry of Health and Welfare to strengthen inspection and oversight.
We found that businesses with expired food items or kitchen waste management may not have signed a contract for their removal, and some don't keep disposal records.
During the spot check, 5 hypermarkets declared kitchen waste which didn't correlate with the actual amount being disposed of. This led the EPA to issue a fine of $7,350.
Taipei City has nearly no qualified companies to handle kitchen waste. New Taipei City only has about 4 to 8 legally qualified vendors to deal with kitchen waste, which is not enough to handle the demand.
Legitimate licensed livestock companies cannot handle the current supply of food waste. According to the EPA statistics, last year the recycling rate for domestic kitchen waste was only 8.37%. This means the vast majority of recyclable kitchen waste produced by stores and consumers is actually sent to incinerators.
Kitchen waste containing sodium chloride can actually produce dioxin, which is a real concern, as incineration isn't a good way to deal with the waste.
Some 40% of home kitchen waste is mixed with ordinary garbage and sent to incinerators. This waste can be used to make compost or livestock feed. A Homemakers Union Foundation survey found grocery store food waste amounted to $22 million every year, and hypermarkets had more than 4 times the waste, accounting for $94 million in wasted food every year.
Distributors like to say that they want to provide consumers with the experience that when walking into the store, the shelves are full and that they won't run out of stock. But often consumers have a limited budget.
Food supply exceeds just how much food is needed. Hypermarkets and grocery stores dispose of leftover food, with 42% being sold to pig farmers as feed, 21% being sold through clearance discounts, and 5% being returned to the supplier. However, some 29% is sent to garbage incinerators.
Food that has yet to be classified as waste should be fully used to help reduce the burden on our trash distribution system.
In the past, management of kitchen waste simply required prompt removal and disposal, along with accurate reporting of the source of the food. Recently, however, a leftover food program has led the source of such food to undertake reporting responsibilities and relevant management, meaning that discarded food must be tracked, including the quantity and where it is sent.
We should invite third-party companies to help those in the food industry do a check of food waste and do a survey and show them how to improve the situation.
Accurate control of food sourcing is needed to reduce food waste. It's not enough to just think about ourselves and what we have to eat. Instead, we should share these food resources with those who are hungry around the world, as well as respect Mother Earth.
The rainy season in Myanmar last year caused serious flooding. Since then, Tzu Chi volunteers had distributed rice seeds in Yangon region's Mobi and Taiki townships. In mid-May, Tzu Chi volunteers also traveled to Sagaing's Kailei township to visit poor villages. While there, they distributed rice, blankets, and relief aid to the farmers in need.
14 volunteers depart from Yangon, traveling 600 kilometers north to the remote Sakang region's Malaita-Kalay. Last year, severe flooding in the area limited the amount of arable land which farmers relied upon, resulting in a food deficit situation.
At the moment, we lack drinking water and food.
While last year's floods devastated the region, Tzu Chi volunteers haven't forgotten about the plight of these people nearly a year later. For 2 consecutive days, Tzu Chi volunteers undertook a distribution in 5 villages, helping nearly 800 farmers. Each household, in addition to receiving rice and blankets, also received 10,000 kyat in relief aid.
Last year, the floods ruined my rice crop. Now that we have received these supplies, I'm very happy.
Your help is what we need the most. I thank you on the behalf of all the villagers.
The distribution in Kongtar village took place in the rain, as one van had trouble making it down the road and couldn't be driven into the village. This meant that everyone had to get off and walk, and though their feet and legs were covered in mud, no one wanted to miss this event in the village.
You really treat us as family and care for us. We're really touched.
Tzu Chi began with housewives saving a little bit of money to do charity work. This is not the same as other groups, so I wanted to join and contribute my own strength to help other people.
Distributing rice, blankets, and money to these poor villagers in urgent need of supplies will help them get through the next 2 months with greater ease.
Next, we'll meet a 6th grader, Liao Jingming, who is attending school in Miaoli, some 120 kilometers from his home in Taoyuan. After he moved to a different city, Jingming couldn't bear to leave his old class. So now every day, he spends nearly an hour in transit going back and forth between home and school. Let's meet this brave, dedicated young student.
He refused to change schools, instead wanting to continue practicing the recorder with his classmates.
We were about to have a competition, and if I couldn't join, the teacher would have to find a replacement. I thought it would be a pity to let them down.
Last year, Liao Jingming's father passed away, and he moved to Taoyuan to live with his mother. Originally, the plan was to transfer to a school in his new neighborhood, but since he couldn't bear to leave his friends and teachers in Miaoli, he instead chose to ride the train 120 kilometers every day from Taoyuan to reach his school in Miaoli.
I'm really touched that he loves us that much, but I also worry about him riding the train for 2 hours every day by himself. If something happened, what could we do? I just worry about him.
Jingming has been riding trains by himself since he was in 5th grade. He is up at 5 every morning and walks 5 minutes to Zhongli Station to be sure he catches his train at 5:48. 11 stops later, he will arrive just before 7 at Junan Station, before another 10-minute walk to his school.
I underestimated him. His motivation wasn't just the music group. It was about the friendship with his classmates he's had for over 5 years.
Because of his safety, teachers had hoped he would eventually transfer schools. However, Jingming couldn't be swayed. He is still making the trip every morning and night to have class with his friends.
Some days I meet the people who take the train regularly, and we will chat sometimes.
Including his wait and ride, this young student spends nearly 3 hours in transit every day. He uses the time to study diligently and is actually in the top of his class. His actions have proven that when you are dedicated to something, you can do whatever is necessary to make it happen.
In Taiwan, a young student in Kaohsiung is overcoming setbacks to fulfill her filial duties and realize her dreams. With her father being paralyzed and bedridden, Shenzhen High School student Pan Meixuan has obtained a scholarship to ease her family's financial burden. She has also vowed to become a pharmacist to help take care of her family. Thanks to the Multi-Star program, which helps disadvantaged students on their path of education, Pan was able to enter college studying pharmacy.
The first thing Pan Meixuan does when she gets home after school is to massage her father to help his circulation.
She will take care of me and chat with me, so I won't be bored.
Due to a work-related injury, Meixuan's father became completely paralyzed when she was in junior high school. The family lost its main financial income, and her mother became the sole breadwinner. To ease her family's burden, Mei Xuan studied hard to earn a scholarship and even vowed to be a pharmacist to take care of her father.
Initially, I wanted to be a neurologist as I wanted to help cure my dad. In the end, I chose pharmacy because it is closer to my own interests.
My daughter is an excellent student. She's filial and obedient as well.
它还要热的跟温的混在一起的。为什么嘞？
就太冰对身体不太好。
Gaining admittance to a pharmacy course, it is apparent that Mei Xuan is not encumbered by her fate and plans to use her expertise to care for her family, as well as others in society in the future.
14-year-old Grace from Batam, Indonesia, has been unable to walk since she contracted German measles as an infant. When TIMA members from Singapore held a free clinic in Indonesia, they discovered the plight of this girl. Fortunately, for the past 2 months, she has received treatment at the Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital in Taiwan. Now that her conditions have improved, she's ready to return to Indonesia.
Compared to what she was like 2 months ago, Grace from Indonesia is not able to stand up. Her treatment was divided to 3 stages. First, the doctor performed a surgery on her groin to loosen the muscles and remove a tumor. Second, the doctor loosened the muscles on the back of her thighs. And lastly, she began physical therapy. Now she is ready to go home.
长期的这个下肢的肌肉无力哈。
We have improved her condition, but her legs are still very weak. Therefore, she must continue the rehabilitation exercises for a while. We have given her a walker to help her.
After having contracted German measles at young age, Grace developed many side effects and subsequently was abandoned by her own parents. She was later adopted by Tzu Chi volunteer Lü Baoxuan, who tried her best to find a cure for the little girl. Thankfully, Grace found the treatment and care she needed in Taiwan.
Grace can talk, but she wants to maintain this affinity with everyone forever. We're grateful that we came here and received so much love from everyone.
A cake-cutting ceremony to signal a new beginning. Grace is loved by everyone who has cared for her. They wish her all the best in the days to come, as she has a long path to recovery.
In Malaysia, the Malacca Tzu Chi Kindergarten held a Buddha Day ceremony attended by 268 parents and children. In preparation, the kindergarteners spent a month practicing the ritual, and their moves in unison deeply impressed the parents. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.